go, that's better. And I'm going to welcome you wherever you're joining us from. A lot of you will be in Melbourne, where all three of us today that you can see on screen are, and I'm on the land of the Wurundjeri people, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past, present and future. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that, and also to think about our connection wherever you are to the environment and the land that you're on. My name's Ed, my colleague Lisa is there in Alphington, and Theresa is also standing by. So we haven't done one of these for a little while. Thanks very much for joining us today. It's exciting because we haven't done one for a couple of weeks. I'd like to thank Theresa for being part of our community and agreeing to share some of her expertise and knowledge with you all today. So this is a continuation of the series that we started at the end of March. And since then, we've had about 30 different presentations, which haven't been behind a paywall as part of something called LAST Anywhere. It all stems from our event that we've been running for several years called LAST Conference, and most of you who are on here will know what that is. If you don't and you'd like to know more, the current address, the best address at the moment is clubhouse.lastconference.com, because that explains to you what we're doing at the moment. And depending on how you look at it, this is actually it is really officially the first session that we're having, which is a talk which is part of the last Clubhouse concept that was started up. So that's exciting as well. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to switch the camera off now and mute, but I'll be around. We've got the poll which is running there, and there's a couple more during the session as well. So thanks very much, Theresa, and over to you.
Thanks very much, Ed. Good afternoon. It's just turned afternoon. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be talking to you clearly, as the title of this talk suggests, about the correlation that people generate between testing and quality. And I'll take questions at the end. If you would please use the Q&A button on your screen for questions. Use the chat button to talk amongst yourselves. But if you have a question for me, pop it in the Q&A section and I'll get to it at the end. You'll probably find that in some cases your question is answered before the end, but let's see how we go anyway. I'm going to start sharing my screen. And there we are. So yes, we are talking about testing and quality. Correlation does not equal causation. I'll introduce myself. My name is Theresa. I work at REA Group. I think many of you know what REA Group is. Digital agency, technology leader, agile leader in this space. And we do realestate.com.au. And my role there is called officially a quality manager, but I am more a quality or QA practice lead. I'm also the co-organizer and coach at DevOps Girls and the co-founder. DevOps Girls is a volunteer-run activity. So 4 of us who are currently co-organizing, we're all volunteers. We don't get paid for this. And we do it purely to help women enter the space of system engineering and lowercase DevOps. I say lowercase because I'm not a fan of the industry and the certifications that have been associated with DevOps. So this is more about the culture and the practices of DevOps. I have about 20 years of quote unquote IT experience. And of course, that's very broad. But I started my career in help desk and have done a few roles in IT over the years, and I've been in QA for the majority of this time. And I have been about 8 years as a leader in the QA space and taking on a leadership role. You can get hold of me on Twitter at Theresa Neate, or you can get hold of DevOps Girls. And I suggest you follow DevOps Girls because we do publish workshops from time to time. We are running one next Saturday, which I'm actually running, on the subject of testers in DevOps. And you can see a little bit of my portfolio at theresaneate.net. Now, today I'm going to take you on a journey, and we are going from the subject of testing to the subject of quality to building in quality. There are a few people in the testing world who will try and convince you that you can't build in quality. Sometimes they say that because they're concerned about their own careers. And sometimes they say that because they feel it's all testing anyway. I will poll you for your perspectives at the end. These are famous last words that I've been hearing in the testing space and the QA space for as long as I can remember. And because I heard it again in the last 18 months, I decided to do this talk and the associating blog post. The words are, our quality is poor. We need more testers or testing. This was a head of engineering who said this to me, that they found a bunch of bugs and they had a few crashes in their mobile app, and the logical solution was to hire more testers. I might disagree with that, and you'll see why. If you've heard of spurious correlations, I'm going to set the scene for you now. This is a humorous image. This is spurious meaning false or misleading, correlations meaning connections or associations. So this is a spurious correlation just for humorous setting. Give you a few seconds to look at that. What we are seeing there is a correlation made between the number of films Nicolas Cage appeared in and the number of people who drowned by falling into a pool. And you could make the mistaken correlation and causative correlation that the one caused the other, or that Nicolas Cage's movies make you want to jump in the pool. This is a spurious correlation. And unfortunately, we find that people make the same correlation between testing and quality. They are associated, but they're not causatively linked. Now, let's look at testing. This is the first topic that I wanted to discuss with you. What you are seeing on your screen right now is an image of somebody inspecting a diamond. The fact that they are inspecting this diamond is a form of testing. They are looking into the existence of quality and the existence of flaws within the diamond. So first and foremost, testing is inspection and feedback. So I include feedback here because feedback is a skill. And if we speak about software, for instance, and we say that you have a bug in your software and you've done a terrible job, that is really poor delivery of feedback. Feedback needs to be crafted empathically and empathetically so that the person on the receiving end feels part of the solution, not part of the problem. So I will say that testing is both the inspection and the discovery of issues, and then the resulting feedback that you provide. Testing is not assurance. In other words, you can't test something at the end. For instance, this particular diamond, you are not improving quality. You're only inspecting quality. So quality assurance is a misnomer. And where you see quality assurance associated with a testing role, you're actually setting up the testing personnel for failure. So we want to remove assurance from the title or from the expectations and empower them more to do the inspection and the feedback. And preferably as early as possible. You'll see I have another image coming up that tells you about the inspection and the feedback being as early as possible. In REA Group where I work, our QAs are called quality analysts. They're not called quality assurance. If you work at Atlassian, it's called quality assistants. In other places in the US, they're calling it quality advocates, but let's remove assurance from the expectations. While we say that testing is just inspection, I want to be very sure that you understand testing is disciplined, and it's not just inspection. It's super disciplined. Here's one example of the discipline of testing.